hindsight is 2020. And so it's now you're able to reflect on a lot of those things and realize, okay, like I was immature and XYZ. I know for myself, I consider a pivotal moment in my life to have happened 8 to 9 months ago, where I had a spiritual awakening, you could call it, amongst many other things, and where I reflected on a lot of points in my life that I was able to dig into, see things, signs about myself that were, you know, that needed some improvement on. And so I'm interested to see if at any point, maybe after you got out of those relationships, or maybe it happened, when it was a bit too late, let's say, what was the moment of reflection for you where you were like able to make that change?
Well, for me, right, I've always been aware. I've been reflecting my whole life. It's not new. What I can tell you is, right, that up to the time that I met Elizabeth, I didn't know what love was. I have it inside me. I've never surrendered to anyone. So that was the moment I surrendered for the first time ever, that I truly opened my heart. But the beautiful part that happens with that, once you do that, then when you look at life after that moment and your heart's open, no matter what, your heart never closes. So after that, then I was able to look at everyone and everything with love. I was able to finally have compassion. So if I could say the most life changing moment was that because of Elizabeth, I became compassionate. Without that happening, I would never been compassionate. 100%. My compassion happened because of that, because I didn't understand what that was and what that felt like. So once I finally felt like it, for me, every single lesson in my life, I wouldn't change one, nor would I want different outcomes. Because to want different outcomes is to not be you. Everything was special. I would say that moment with her and giving me compassion was huge. I then with I would say with Maya, I learned empathy. Because it was to be close with someone again, right? But it wasn't so much. It was more putting myself in that person's shoes. See, I wasn't able to do that in that prior relationship. And I haven't been in a relationship since. With that being said, it's because now I have such an understanding. I knew that, since those times, I was still building me. And even now that I'm built, I'm open, but I just take life and I enjoy it brand new every day. I have no expectation. It just, whatever it is that the universe and synchronicity, the way it works, the way it flows, is the way I'm gonna live it. What I do know is that I have so much love around me. Because to be honest with you, the loves of my life are my people. I've been on a 5-year journey, and it just feels like I've been collecting family members. And we've been on this incredible journey, changing one spirit, one soul, one heart at a time. And, to watch them grow, to watch who they become, to see so much potential just exponentially just explode, and to see their contributions to the world, I'm in love with all of them. To me, they are all my heart. Like when I see the kids in New York and to see the impact we've had on them, It's incredible. And I tell you, like, even when we do that work, like, I focus on the kids. I don't focus on the adults unless I'm doing leadership training, because I go into that world because it's for them. So they can have, examples, supermodels and super leaders, people to emulate. I'm bringing the haves to the have nots so they can see what's possible. So I'm just so in love with the world. The idea of being madly in love with someone, I just don't think that that's the way it will work. I just believe that the right person for me will just kind of become a part of the love that I'm a part of now, and vice versa. And it's just gonna flow. To be honest with you, it's gonna be easy. It's just gonna be easy, because it just when you have two people who know who they are and they're aware and they're not putting an expectation on that person's not putting an expectation on you, and they just have gratitude for what they can share. It's always a good outlook. So what happens when you have two people who can have the dialogue and always have a good outlook no matter how the day transitions? The reality is when you see relationships aren't working, it's just people just they rushed it. They're just not ready. They're not there yet. What happens when people start focusing on being there? What happens when people become the person that they want to attract? What happens when people fortify not only their nature and their internal, right? But what happens when they also prepare their external world to welcome somebody into their world and vice versa? And this is the best part. It's not even a union of the worlds. It's two worlds living alongside each other. And these two special beings, how they jump into each other's worlds in and out. And you got these two planets just in orbit. And they start orbiting right next to each other. It's, what more can you want? I think, from my perspective, that's what love is. That's what love becomes. But that's a mature love. That it's a little different, that's not ownership. That's not possessiveness. That's not like, oh, that's my girl. Or that's not like, that's my wife. That's more like my what happens to my spirit when I'm next to that person is magical. Like me and that person's spirit, the way it intertwines, the dance, it's takes your breath away. Lets you know that you're alive. And the reason being is because the ultimate thing we do in this life is breathe. So when something takes your breath away, it has your full attention. But it becomes an addition. It never subtracts. It only adds. That's what's possible if you're willing to see it. But you have to be willing. Because your mind will not show you whatever it is that you don't show it. Whatever it is that you don't ask of it. And then, the next thing you have to ask yourself, what is enough? Imagine the idea of a life where enough is your relationships. Because for me, my relationships are my abundance. It has nothing to do with the achievements. It has nothing to do with the success we've had. The abundance is the relationships. The abundance is the tables that have been built, the communities, you know? So in my mind, we have everything. Now we just get to live this journey together. It was beautiful because, yesterday I was at the Adam Sandler show and he just showed his videos, from when they were doing Saturday Night Live decades ago. And to see all that growth and to see all the people he brought up with him. And, you just see a community of comedians and actors that and producers that have stuck together and just built together. That's their table. And it's just gorgeous to see all that collaboration and you just see it. The way he did that commencement. He did a tribute to Chris Farley, passed away in 97. He did Tommy Boy, you know, American White Ninja. Like we're in 2023 and he passed away in 97, and to see those spirits that is forever. You know, it's incredible when you see what interdependence, when you see what synchronicity, synergy, tribe, when you see community, what it can build and what happens over time. So my perspective as I'm watching, I'm reflecting and I see decades of work of people. So now I'm like, automatically I'm thinking get fitness 5 years. So what's gonna happen when we hit our first decade? How big will the table be when there's 2 decades? So my perspective, I know where we're going. I don't know how far we're gonna go. We're gonna see how far we can go, but I know where we're going. So I'm just enjoying the day-to-day ride. I'm in no rush. I Get Fitness is only here to be great. I only know how to be great. The people around me only know how to be great. And the best part is, all we want to do is inspire others to be great. Just to take action every day. Take action. Do something every day. Contribute something to your life every day. Contribute something to yourself every day, because the more you contribute yourself to, the more that you become, the more you're going to inspire others to do, and the more you'll be able to give to others. Become. Go become. We become what we believe. Become. What would you do if you're not afraid? Don't be afraid. You are what you are. Go be. Imagine if your perspective is that everything in life is easy. And if done correctly, it'll be enjoyable. That's everything in life. Everything in life really is easy. Done correctly, it's enjoyable. That's what we teach. Everything in life must be easy, correct, and enjoyable. We complicate things. We think that we have to do a million things. Bruce Lee said, I'd rather practice one kick 1,000 times than 1,000 kicks one time. Albert Einstein said, the secret to genius is simplicity. Right? So if you understand we are what we repeatedly do, excellence then is not an act, but a habit. That's Aristotle. Excellence, you're not born excellent. But if you practice at something, then you become excellent. And then take it further. When you practice one thing, then you eventually develop a perception that sees more than most. Because you've gathered so much information on it. Because it's just that one thing. You surround yourself by other great people, then now you're talking about all these great perceptions you have around you that are constantly adding to your perception and vice versa, you to theirs. So what happens when you go and you surround yourself with nothing but quality people, good energy, good perception, good vocabulary, know how to use the meaning of their words and what they know, and they know how to transfer that. I tell people all the time, you can't teach what I teach because you don't have my essence. You can repeat the words, but if you don't know the meaning or the understanding or have the awareness of my words, how can you transfer my essence? It takes time. Other than that, you're just a parrot. So what I see is a lot of people, they need to earn it. They need to earn some type of discipline, some type of work, create their own thing, or go find someone who's a master of something and go take an apprenticeship and take your time. For example, what I teach, my partner Preston, he's able to transmit that essence now. But it took him 5 years. So most people think that they're gonna go and like there's like a shortcut. Like you can just go and do a half an hour or do 1 month or do 1 year, and all of a sudden you think that you'll be able to do what that person does. No. Because you're talking if let's say a blog has someone's, their effort for a day. Let's say an article, right, has someone's effort for 3, 4 months. Let's say a book has someone's effort, and information from 15 years. Imagine a mastery. You're talking about a lifetime. You see, people don't understand that perspective about work so hard that things are effortless. Like, in order for something to be effortless, the first thing that you have to do is effort, and that effortlessness can only be earned. There's no shortcut. It can only be earned. So everyone wants things effortlessly, but what they don't see is how much effort has to go into effortlessly.
We are what we believe, everyone.